And now, coming live from the Midwest Racks and Rods studio, it's the Outdoor Show with your host. Nobody cares anyways. Bisco Bing. And special in-studio guest, Jesse Bricko.
That's classic. That's classic.
Classic Drew right there.
Classic Drew.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show. Since he's not going to do it, I'll introduce myself. I am Scott Biscobing. To my right is my right-hand man, my brother, Drew Biscobing. And just previously mentioned, we're joined by new team member, to Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoors, Jesse Bricko.
Thank you.
Welcome to the studio and welcome to the team, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
So yeah, Jesse didn't know he was going to be a team member until about an hour ago.
That's true.
And what's that? We got something from our. Oh yes, very good.
Subtle.
Very subtle. Where's that whiteboard? We were supposed to have that whiteboard there. Our producer, he's signaling. He's like, you might want to mention the sponsor of the show. Yes, folks. This episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show, Season 3, Episode 3, is sponsored by ETA. We've got it. ETA Solutions. Thanks, producer Luke. That could have cost us. That could have cost us our sponsorship. But
We were going to get to it at some point.
yeah, we'll go with that. Or it was going to be an epic fail. One of the two. But hey, that's why we bring you here. That's why we feed you Pabst. Anyways, so we're joined by a new team member here, Jesse. I just want to say that we've been thinking about having Jesse join the team. We're wanting to ask him to join the team. We've been kind of talking to it for Chris and I,
Yep.
we've been talking about it. He puts out a lot of great content. He's really big into fishing on Lake Michigan. Always outdoors is what we're about, and
Exactly.
Jesse, you're always outdoors. So we talked to him earlier this evening and kind of laid things out. And
That was definitely a surprise, but caught me off guard. But first time I'm actually speechless.
I'm just going to turn this here just a little bit. We're not quite getting it there.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
That's better.
There we go.
Testing.
So, yeah, welcome aboard, man. We're super excited to have you because this guy is just filled with content. He puts out content constantly. He's constantly out on the water. When it's not fishing season, he's out in the woods doing hunting and fishing. Hunting, deer hunting, turkey hunting. I know you said you weren't able to get out this year turkey hunting, but
No, I just focused on with the new boat, and the fishing is usually really hot in May, and I just kind of put all my eggs in my basket for that.
right. I mean, it's tough because especially in springtime, it's always that decision you make there. Should I be out in the woods trying to get after a gobbler, or should I be out on the water getting after walleyes, or in your case,
Salmon,
Michigan,
trout,
salmon and trout,
especially the coho run. That's usually every year is different with the weather and
Sure.
water, but it was a later season this year. But I didn't know that until obviously the season started. Last year we were on them beginning of May, so that's what I was kind of hoping for. But started a little later, but didn't know that.
Well, you just mentioned that a new boat.
Yeah, I just kind of fell into it. My other boat, going fishing actually with my buddy Tim, got rear-ended. So after only having it 3 years and a lot of memories,
Yeah.
and you stuck a lot into that boat too.
a lot more than what I actually, it had on it.
Right. Yeah.
So it was scrambled to try to find some. I didn't think I was going to find something for me and my son.
Right. Yeah. I remember you posted on Facebook just saying like, "That's it. Season's over with. don't know when I'm going to get a new one. And then it was like a week later or something like that.
Yeah,
It seemed pretty quick.
it was. I just found it on Marketplace, and the guy actually happened to live close by in Richfield.
Oh, nice.
So it was like, okay, I'll go take a look at it. But after, months of searching, I kind of felt, like we weren't going to find some with inflation and everything.
Right.
But the boats just were out of control, and this one, the price was right, and it was immaculate condition.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pass the opportunity on it.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I mean, you vet the head of us out or anything, but but
I've asked.
That is not your fault. You have asked. It just has not worked out.
Well, and now you know the real reason why we asked you to join the team. Unlimited access to the fishing. But before we get into all the real fishing, actually, Luke, can I get you to turn those lamps off back there on the back side there? We're getting a glare there. Yep, those two and the one on top of the bar. Yes, folks, we have a fully stocked bar behind.
Very true.
There we go. Much better, much better.
I knew something was off.
I know, I did. I was like, what?
Feels like daylight.
Yeah. It did feel a little freaky, and we're better now. Yeah, we're good. That light's off now, but
For the love of Pete. New studio.
yeah, working out the kinks. But anyways, so before we get into the deep dive of your fishing and stuff, let's take it back a little bit here to your start in the outdoors. How did that start? Have you been hunting and fishing all your life since a kid? How did it all come about?
Mostly my dad and my grandpa, just those two. I started my dad had me in the woods at 6 years old. Ice fishing didn't come till later, but hunting was always there, and fishing. My grandpa and my dad were just very big into it, and it just, every weekend, me and my dad were out in the woods, take me along, even if, I wasn't hunting, I was in a tree stand with him. Yeah, at 6 years old, I was in a tree stand, cold. He gave me a sleeping bag, stay warm. Going on deer drives when they did it back then.
Yeah.
Part of the group. As far as even learning how to gut deer,
Right.
8 years old, and yeah, of course, those guys, they ain't gonna complain. Yeah, you want to gut my deer? Sure. And everything just fell into place, and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It was a big part of my family's life, and even cutting the deer up, that was a family thing. Hanging up in the garage, everybody doing a part. My mom, my sister, and
so that was more hunting.
Yes.
Right? So when did you really start to get into fishing? I mean, that's
like disc fishing or just any?
Just fishing
just
in general.
fishing in general.
Where they kind of go hand in hand.
because I'm assuming it just transformed into what you do now.
Yeah. It was mostly small stuff. We usually went on shore until my dad got a boat, and then it was just bluegills or casting for bass or whatnot. Traditional stuff. My grandpa at one time had a shack actually in Hornville on the Wolf River, so we would go up and my dad would just spend a weekend up in there, and it was at night with bells on the rods catfishing. And that was, I love that, sit outside, got lights on the rods, and just watch for them to start bouncing.
Oh, that's really cool. That's something I've never done. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, it was great, just have a fire going, lights shining down on the rods and just waiting.
Yeah, very cool. So you went from Inland Lake, and now you're big fishing out on Lake Michigan.
Yeah. My dad got into it. I went on a charter once before, and my neighbor Randy Fry actually got a boat too. My dad didn't get his till a little bit later, but it was a smaller, like an 18-foot, bayliner, and he started out small, and then getting into that fishing was totally different than the small stuff, and it was such an adrenaline rush. And then he kept upgrading boats and boat sizes, and eventually, he got up into Kewanee with a bigger boat, a 33-footer, and I loved going on that, every weekend. The drive wasn't the greatest, but spending the weekend on a boat and fishing on something that big. You know, I did that for 8 years, and then it was just time to be captain of my own boat.
Okay.
And that's something you're working on right now. You're working on.
Yes, correct. I'm actually having to take 2 weekends off that I normally wouldn't do. Starting my class for getting my captain's license next Friday, actually.
Awesome.
I had
wow.
a lot of people pushing me, and I've never want to really, you know, push myself. So I'm really appreciate everybody who has pushed me to this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just feel like just watching last year alone, you know, the amount of fish that you were putting guys on and groups that you were kind of, I guess it would be chartering, right?
Oh, mostly just taking friends out.
Just taking friends out and
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah, they call it
friends and friends of friends. And
friends, family, and, you know,
Sure.
having a aluminum boat, you know, I was what they call weekend warrior tin boat.
Sure.
So compared to the big charters.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you were on the fish.
Yeah.
I mean, you were on the fish big time.
Having a good network out there, you know, and having a select few guys who fish it regularly helps. But figuring stuff out on your own, I mean, that's what I like doing. You know, just figuring it out because, you know, once you do, you know, it's game on.
Well, you know, it seems like you take things personally if you don't get on the fish. Or
I do.
You know,
I really
you have
do.
a quote unquote bad fishing day, even though there's really no such thing.
When you're taking friends and stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm under pressure, but I put that on myself because I want people to have such a fun time out there. And I know the fish are there, but, you know, that's what they call it, fishing, not catching.
Right. Yeah.
But when you can get on them and it's just, you know, hit after hit after hit and everything falls into place, it's an adrenaline and such a good feeling, you know, seeing how happy they are and stuff they don't ever get to experience. And when they see it happen, it's awesome to see.
Well, and I think that's probably why you had so many people probably pushing, because they saw that in you, you know, pushing you to, you know, do it, man, start a charter. And that they saw that you're going to be the kind of guy that is going to take it personal and be really focused on making sure everybody has a good time. It came through in all your posts and stuff and all those things. I mean, we even were thinking about you before that, and the more I was seeing your posts and things like that, it's just like, yeah, this is the guy, man. He's got a passion for this, and that's what we want, you know, as part of our team, and that is somebody who's got that passion for the outdoors. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be a passion for every single aspect of the outdoors. You know, your niche is definitely fishing, for sure, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's something we need on this team, in that we love fishing in that. But, you know, like I said, I'm not a Lake Michigan fisherman. I'm an inland guy, for sure.
Not yet,
you
at
know,
least.
like, right. Well, again, another reason why we brought you on here. But, you know, my big thing is the deer and turkey and stuff and that, and by far. And fishing always is like, well, it's something to do that I enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing it. But it's definitely secondary. You know, even in the fall, sometimes there's guys where, should I be out in a tree stand or out on the boat? Yeah, I'm the guy that's in the tree stand.
And that
For sure,
time
so.
comes for me too. I mean, come August, you know, something slow down, you know, for some people out there.
Yeah.
For me, it definitely does, because come September, you know, I'm not thinking fishing anymore. You know, maybe if the weather isn't the greatest for hunting, you know, I might take the boat out once in a while. But
Yeah.
come September, my focus is in the woods.
Yeah.
So where do you do majority of your hunting?
It used to be up in Marion. We had 40 acres for umpteen years.
That's Wisconsin.
Marion,
For those of you
Wisconsin.
who are watching that are not familiar with Wisconsin, that is
Wapaka County.
yes.
My dad ended up selling it, you know. It was unfortunate, but, you know, he had other plans, which I understand and respect. And then a couple years ago, I shot a deer. It was a questionable shot, like yours last year.
Like my last year, yeah.
And I was very unsure as soon as I seen it hit, and I got in touch with this deer tracking group. And Jamie, I think I messaged that night. And
Yeah, we were just talking about how I called Jamie that morning too.
Correct. And he put me through to a guy that was close by, you know, and I messaged him, and he came in the morning with his dog, Bella, I believe, Matt. And that deer didn't go 100 yards, and she was right on top of it, and we just stayed in contact since. And then when you seen, I was having trouble, wanting to find a good spot for me, my boy, he gave me the opportunity and to come on his land to help, fill some crop damage tanks, especially with my son, starting out hunting.
Yeah.
And it just progressed from there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're up in friendship now. And it's actually really nice, too, because my brother, being back from the military, lives in Boston.
Oh.
So
perfect.
from where my brother lives to the hunting land is 20-minute drive. So I get to visit my brother, which I don't get to see, and my, sister-in-law, my godson and niece. It all works out.
Well, you're real close than Papa Bisco then.
That's right.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Our folks are in Adams Friendship.
Okay.
And that specifically, what is that called there?
Cottonville.
Cottonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never seen that town.
I mean, it's not even incorporated
No.
or anything. It's just like an area that they call it. It's like Cottonville there. It's
Right.
off of 21. All right, we're not giving coordinates to Papa's. He's got the turkeys coming in every night. So I've yet to turkey hunt out there. Like we were just talking about that this week. We were all camping together, and that he's oh yeah, the turkeys. He's like they died down the first couple of weeks of the season, and then they were back out there again. And well, I'm like, well, that was the same thing by us and a couple counties over. But
so real quick, looks like we got Mama Bricko. She's watching with your son Hunter.
Yeah, he was pretty excited to see Dad, and
is that what that is there?
Yep, that was as soon as I found I was having a kid, I knew.
See, that's how you know that you got the right guy in the team. When he names his kid Hunter and he gets his name tattooed on his forearm. I mean, that's...
Plus, I never forget his birthday.
There you go.
Genius. Can I do the same thing for anniversaries? Is that okay?
I mean, if you want some permanent.
And that is, again, let's take it into another reason why we were so interested in having you on is your passion for getting your son into the outdoors, and it seems very effortless, and from some of our conversations, it is pretty effortless with him. Like he's all in. Like,
Oh God,
he's in like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I would take him not just because he's my son, over any adult because he finds out we're going fishing or hunting. I mean, I can wake him up at 1 o'clock in the morning to head out, and there's no complaints. Getting out of bed, or he's up, he's dressed, he's packing our cooler and waiting for me out in the truck.
It's pretty cool.
He lives it. He breathes it.
Right. Because
awesome.
don't wake me up at 1 a.m. I'm probably first going to bed.
Well, I don't have to now, so we sleep on a boat, so you can just be down there at 3:30.
Oh, okay. All right. 3:30. I can do that.
Yeah, you guys just did that recently, didn't you?
Yeah, we spent another weekend down there. We got there at Friday down in Port Washington, and that was another big selling point on this boat is having the opportunity to just stay there and slip instead of driving back and forth and having to get up extra early and hook up the truck and boat and just slip the boat, which is very inexpensive, and with gas,
Right.
we can just stay right there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great point. Yeah, for sure. What typical weekend? I mean, what? Just, and I'm only asking because I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cost is involved with, you don't have a charter, but it's
Well,
it's
when you do,
a
like,
charter,
what is something like that? Like, because we know, like, there's prices in every charter. There's so many charters going out of Port Washington and Sheboygan and Milwaukee and things like that. But
what does it cost?
like,
you
what
to
do you
to operate?
Because I think sometimes guys are, wow, that seems like a lot of money to go out catching fish, but there's a lot of investment that goes in on your end, and then fuel costs and stuff.
Oh, it's a big cost, especially owning your own boat versus working for a charter. Gas is number one now.
Yeah.
So you got to figure in fuel costs, and the size of the boat and how far you're going to find these fish. And, you're fishing a 5, 6, 10-hour charter. Then you got the lures involved. You lose lures, extra gear, rods, reels. It's thousands of dollars. So, people might see, $500, $600, $700 for a charter.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be a lot to some people, but they don't see the backside of it
Right.
on what it takes to. I mean, what they burn. You know, a big boat, you're going to burn, 20 plus gallons in probably one trip.
Yeah.
So,
and I think because you see the comments sometimes from people like, wow, that costs you a lot of money for, 5-6 fish or whatever, depending upon how that day went or whatever.
Correct.
But you're also paying for the experience.
Well, the memory and experience.
And the time out there with friends or family, whoever you're out there with. So,
especially if you're not having the opportunity to do it, like some of us, get to. That experience to me is worth more than, that fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that just bleeds through your posts. I mean, it's the passion is there.
Correct.
100%. So just to backtrack a little bit, because you said something there that interests me, how far you're going right on that charter. So typical trip, I mean, it's hard to, I understand you might not be able to quantify that, but on average, right?
You're at the mercy of the fish and the weather, and the size of your boat.
Okay.
So, I mean, last weekend, fish were just, the coals is what we specifically are targeting right now because, they're coming up, from the south, working their way up the shoreline. And last weekend we were traveling, 14, 15, up to 17 miles, to get, onto these big pods of fish. And you're motoring, like me, I was motoring 10 miles before with the big motor before I even started trolling.
Oh, wow.
So, and then this weekend, starting all over because I only get, opportunity to fish on the weekends, I went north 10 plus miles before I even started fishing, because fishing I heard was good up that way. So
okay,
sometimes you can go 2 miles, straight out of the harbor and be on fish immediately.
Yeah.
It changes daily out there, with the weather and where these fish are and the bait. So it's always a gamble on how far you got to go, but sometimes to put the meat on the deck, you gotta travel.
To me that's interesting. I mean, it's not something that I've ever done, and you think about your normal inland lake fishing, right?
Yeah, I mean we keep calling it inland, but technically, Lake Michigan is an inland lake.
Well,
but it's.
Well, that's the idiot in me coming out.
I've been saying it though too. It's like it's technically inland.
Right. No,
not an ocean. Looks like it when you're standing out there, and when you're out on the boat. I mean, you can't see. It's just water forever.
Well, let me get my foot out of my mouth.
I mean, I do explain it sometimes to people. It's the closest thing to deep sea fishing you can get without actually doing it.
Yeah,
I mean sometimes you're out.
Big water.
Yeah, 10, 12, 13 miles out offshore, and you're in, 3, 4, 500 feet of water.
Sure, right.
Yeah. So it's deep.
Yeah, it's plenty deep.
Tell us about your best day out on the water.
As far as fish count, memory?
Either. Maybe both.
Last year was, it started off pretty quick. My buddy came down from Kewaunee with his friend, and because they don't get the cohos like we do down here, and we were on them pretty good the weekend prior, and I set up, and we couldn't even get every rod in the water, and we had a 3-man limit in an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there was times 5, 6 rods were laying on the floor, fish were flopping in the water, and so that was fast. That was quick. That was a really good memory. The one before that is just always me and my kid. We had it was a tough fishing day. It was later in the season. Fish were deep. The water was warm. And I think we got 8 fish. We're two away from our limit.
It was just the two of you? Or?
Two of me with my smaller boat.
Yeah.
And he caught his biggest salmon of that day. I mean, we had a team on it, but I gave him the rod a lot of times. I'd put in a rod holder and he would crank. And, I mean, the rod it hit was a 300 weighted steel with a flasher fly, which not to some they don't know what that means, but it's a long ways of line, weighted line, and then you have this big salmon.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a 45-minute battle, and he did it like a champ, and I believe I have a picture of it somewhere. But his biggest that day was a 23-pound king.
Jeez.
Wow.
And
That's
I
awesome.
couldn't be more proud of him. And we almost didn't get it. With just me and him in there, it was I can't reel and net at the same time.
And that, right.
So when it got close to the boat and I seen the size, holding a rod with one hand or having him behind me holding a rod and trying to net, the rod actually snapped in half.
Oh my God.
So it was still attached with the line. So it was scramble on giving him the bottom half of the rod and me pulling the fish with the other half of the rod and netting it with one arm.
Yeah.
But we got it in. So
That's
that was icing on the cake, it's scary at the last moment.
Right.
But
Dad, net this fish, Dad.
it is. And he's actually mad when it's a smaller fish.
Yeah.
He's after the big fish when
Yeah.
he's always hoping it's a big king salmon on the end of that line.
Right. Well, you said even like there's been times where you've been on like Bago fishing for perch.
Yeah.
And he's just like, Dad, this is boring.
No, it
I'm
is.
gonna catch the big ones.
Yeah, and we can't do that really with this boat. Just with how big it is.
Yeah. Right.
So
Not
with our
this one.
smaller boat, yeah, times you would go on Lake Winnebago or inland lakes like Fox Lake, Beaver Dam, and bobber fish, or dead stick for perch.
He called them inland lakes.
Well, right. I guess that's what we do around here, right?
I don't know.
When you have Lake Michigan that runs
Right.
through like 3 states, 4, Indiana, and then Canada, right? Canada touches it
don't
up top.
make me do math.
No, it's not math. It's
Well,
geography.
Well, yeah, it does go.
The
it does
learning
go up
is
there.
hard. It's been a long weekend.
Gonna need beer to put these flames out.
Do we need to get a map? Where the lines are. But no, he would be. He would be like, this is boring. Pulling in, little perch and bluegills. He wants the big fish. He wants the adrenaline rush of the rod screaming out, line.
Absolutely. I'm getting excited just hearing this. I want to get out there.
I wonder if Chris is still watching. We heard Fox Lake, and I bet you he got off. What did we? We had a hell of a
Speaking
time.
about maps, Fox Lake.
Yeah. Speaking of maps and Fox Lake.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I don't even know. We totally. I'm surprised we didn't destroy the lower unit.
Oh, it
The
can
prop,
happen out there.
the prop got destroyed. I don't know what the heck we were doing. We were out there pretty early in the morning, and you've been out there, I'm sure, quite a few times, so you know where that like rock bed is out there.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, a few. And I
found them all.
I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying to get my rods ready and stuff, and he's looking, and then he asked me to look at the map or pull up the map on my phone, and I noticed that there's, Chris, if you're watching, I noticed there's like just a line of boats, like kind of in a semicircle on that, and we're kind of headed right into the middle of them. I just at a quick glance up. I think we were both really distracted, and next thing you know, and we're in the middle of this rock bed.
You didn't see the
And
buoys?
yeah, well, first off, I wasn't the captain.
A lot of them are marked with buoys out
No,
there.
it was, and
You got to go around them.
and all the way around there was guys fishing.
Yep.
And there was boats, and I bet you I was like, I'm just waiting to hear the laughter from these guys or the oh no, no, because nobody warned. We didn't hear anybody like, what are you? Don't go there, because like I said, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know exactly what I was doing at the time, but I know neither one of us were paying full attention to exactly where we were. And that was the area because we wanted to fish off of it. And somehow or another, we missed the buoys or weren't fully paying attention. And it was like, oh. So then, we pull we look at the prop, and it's dinged up pretty good, but we're okay. We're feeling. We do a couple tests and stuff. The lower unit's okay yet. We got really lucky for as bad as how loud it sounded, and that. So we all full day of fishing in, and that. And we're coming back through the channel to the park there.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Town Park.
Yeah,
You didn't trim your motor up, did you?
we did.
Oh, okay.
Did trim the motor up. The motor was trimmed up. The motor was trimmed, and but there was other boats just flying past us and that. We're just kind of cruising along, and all of a sudden, bang, another.
Yeah, there's a hidden rock out there.
That we hit that hidden rock.
It's not that hidden anymore.
We hit that. We were kind of maybe a little more to the right coming in.
Around the corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, son of a.
You got to be out a little bit.
There was guys flying by, but we're just kind of like just tooling in, kind of real slow, just like we're gonna go to the bar, get something to eat, just not really thinking about it.
Right.
And another one, and Chris looks over at me like this,
Oh no!
Who's driving?
Chris was. It was me. on either cases, I was just the guy. I was just a passenger. I don't think Chris is on, or he would have chimed in by now on this. But oh my God, he gave me this look, like as if it was my fault almost.
Who chose the lake?
What's that?
Who chose the lake?
That might have been me.
Well, then.
That might have been me. And most of my fishing on Fox Lake has always been ice fishing.
Well, then you're safe.
Right, exactly. There's no props getting ruined out there. No lower units getting destroyed out on the ice. But yeah, that was the last time we went out to Fox Lake.
Did you catch any
The fishing
fish?
was, yeah, we did perch, but nothing. I don't know. Did we catch anything decent that day? I don't think the fishing was very good.
It was
that day
springtime,
either.
wasn't it?
No, it was actually like probably right around this time.
Okay.
It was early June. And yeah. Chris, I'm sorry. But the good news is it just ended when it was all said and done, it was just another new prop. And then the old one we had up on the wall, all the props up on the shelf down there in the studio.
Yeah, like
from
a
up the years.
trophy.
Is it a wall of fame or shame?
Shade.
Depends, there's a story to go along with it, and
Yeah.
you just heard one. So
Ice fishing. I know that's something that you enjoy doing. Do you
Oh,
get
absolutely,
out on the ice quite a bit, or is it sporadic?
We get out as much as possible, me and my son, and that again depends on the weather and the year. As soon as the ice is safe, in areas that we like to go, we're out.
Yeah.
So
I figured we went ice fishing once together, and
We did?
Yep, it was Pike Lake.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was
Probably a jamboree.
Yeah.
That's not really fishing.
No, it's the Dead Sea. There's nothing in.
well, yeah, and it's Pike Lake, yeah.
But I just thought it was funny that I'm sitting around the hole and like, yeah, nothing's going on here. I guess I'll just crack another beer. This guy is on his knees with his head down in the hole, trying to. I'm like, I feel like there's equipment that does that for you. You were dedicated, like you read about.
Well, back then, I didn't probably have a Vexlar
Right,
or whatever,
right.
and we were shallow enough where, we were probably going after perch. And, at that young of an age, you can just look down a hole and, wait for one to bite and pick and choose.
It was. I just looked over at him like, yeah, that's not going to be me. I'm just going to go over here and grab another beer.
At least it's always cold.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was. But yeah, I do believe you caught way more fish than I did.
Well,
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of people I can say that.
Pretty much anybody that throws a line into the water has caught more fish than I have.
Well, the good thing on
I
my
suck.
boat is I put the lines in, so you technically reel them in. So then you can say you caught them.
There you go.
I got to get off the snide here. I've caught a few. There's pictures.
Yeah. You actually, when we were up on the flowage, the last time we were up on the flowage, you were hitting the crappies really well.
Yeah, we
so.
got on a nice crappie bite for
Awesome.
about half an hour. It
But that was an intense half hour, boy.
all it takes. That
was
You
fun.
couldn't
Get the lines in
get the
quick
lines
enough.
there, or it's like, all right, get it back in, because it was just an awesome bite.
And that's how it can be out there, too. When they're on a feeding frenzy and you're in a pot of fish,
Yeah,
get that fish off, get it back in, because it could be,
yeah.
seconds, minutes, and
It's going off again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that was fun. The rest of that trip.
You remember?
Oh, there was a couple big walleye.
Oh well, yeah. There was definitely some nice walleye, not caught by me. I think there's a really great picture of me that I caught a smallmouth. That, no lie, was about
It
this
was
big.
a fry. It was just a little
I
fry.
still had to hold him out.
Oh, you did a fish extension.
Oh, yeah. And they even still.
It's all about the angle when you take the pic, if you know what I mean.
Well, with cameras nowadays, you get that wide angle.
Right. Absolutely. But, oh, you were going to say? Go.
Well, it was just you touched on some good memories. You know, anything that really stands out with your son.
Outside of the fishing.
Outside of the fishing. Oh, I mean, we do everything together. I mean, probably outside of fishing. I mean, he's a water bug. Anything with water, him in it, around it, he sees it, he's by it.
Yeah.
So a lot of our off time is, going to this park and him frog hunting.
Yeah.
And that is always memorable. I mean, him dedicated for hunting and fishing, he is dedicated to this.
Yeah.
He will sit there for hours. I mean, at a park. I mean, there's stuff to play. No, he's in the water catching frogs and crayfish. He's in the creek with water shoes, and he hates to leave. So, yeah, I mean, if we got hours to kill, that's where we're at, and that's where he wants to be.
I'm going to steer you towards the deer woods.
The deer woods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about that story with your son's first.
Oh, I mean,
Because that was a special moment.
yeah, that was a moment I was hoping for or waiting for since he was born.
Yeah.
Is to take him out in the woods.
As with most parents, father, son, or moms, if they're in the outdoors, it's that
Right.
first time.
My buddy Luke, let me go down where he hunts down in some prairie area. We didn't see much. It was hot. It was, it was the youth hunt. So it was hot this last year, beginning of October. Didn't have much luck. We were going to go in the afternoon, because it was so hot in the morning. And my buddy Brock, who's actually a charter down in Port, and I actually work with him too.
Oh, okay.
He called me up and asked if me and Hunter were, going to go out hunting because he didn't see us out, in the morning. We haven't done posting any pictures, whatever. And I said, well, we're going to go in the afternoon, and it's our last day. He's like, well, just come over by me. And I mean, he lives in a great area. I mean, there is lots of deer, and we weren't in the stand very long, and we still had a couple hours, like an hour left to hunt, and one just presented itself, and I left it up to Hunter. You want to wait, or you want to take that one, and well, of course he wanted to take it right away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe I did take a video of it, and I mean, he did a lot of practicing. I bought him a gun for Christmas. It was actually Christmas and birthday, and he took a lot of time practicing. Like, he was really focused, and I knew if it was 60 yards or closer, he should get this deer with how he was shooting.
Yeah.
And it was a tight quartering away shot. Right before he shot, it turned a little bit more, but I told him his placement. Place it right behind the shoulder, and the gun should do the work.
I remember that. I remember when you were taking him out just to practice shooting. You commented several times on how good his shot placement was. And I think, based off of that video, it was great.
Oh,
I mean, he put it right where it needed to be on, like you said, not a very easy shot.
no, no, it was a tight quartering. I mean, a little bit to the left,
Right.
guts, a little bit to the right, he would have missed.
Yep.
And he pulled that trigger, and that deer even kicked. Instant down.
That's
Didn't flinch, didn't do nothing, dead, and that's when the waterworks came. I will admit it, I have no shame.
No,
Right,
nor
no.
should you.
And
Nor should you.
he actually teared up. I mean, it was all happy tears.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was just progressed from there. I mean, his first year when my buddy Matt let me come up there with Hunter, his first year hunting, he shot 4 deer. Three out of the 4 dropped in their tracks.
Wow.
With this gun. His farthest was probably a 60-yard shot,
Yeah.
and they were crop damage tags. So the second time we were out there, he shot his first, dropped, but then Dad was up since,
Yeah.
I want to get a shot off too.
Dad still likes hunting.
And that was our first time, going out with both of our guns.
Yeah.
And that was such a memorable time too, because, an hour later, another big doe presented itself. And I won't admit it. He was a better shot than me. Mine didn't drop. But it gave him the experience on tracking. So that was a benefit, what to look for. It only went, probably 40 yards. But, I let him, it was dark out. So here's a flashlight. Here's what to look for. Look up ahead. Look for,
That's
eyes.
awesome. Yeah.
And we were both able to capitalize, on 2 big does
that's
together.
great.
That is awesome.
That's a special moment for sure. Like one that, like I said, if you're a hunter and you have a kid, you're looking forward to that day or hoping that your kid is going to want to. I mean, I think there's a lot of us out there that that either have kids or have kids that are really young and that's what you're looking for. But you don't know how to go about getting them involved because we live in a technological world here now where they're into, tablets and phones and things like that, video games and stuff. And it's very difficult to not have that be a part of their life. And I'm sure your kid still likes to play video games and to an extent and that.
Actually, we don't even own video games.
Oh, no?
I never bought him one.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Well, my kid doesn't either, but he's still pretty young yet.
Yeah,
but
right.
He does have a tablet.
Okay.
And that. But trying to introduce your kid into the outdoors without pushing them to do it, making it a situation where they want to do it on their own and not it being forced or shoved down their throat. What would you say the situation was with you and Hunter? Was it just automatic, like he wanted to do what Dad was doing?
Yeah, I think one of the first times I took him out, 5 or 6, I want to say, and we actually have a nice picture of that, is the first time he ever went fishing. It was actually ice fishing. And it was Lake Emily. I figured it was a great lake.
Yeah.
And we were able to drive others, so that helped, keeping him warm, and getting out of the wind or elements. And he pulled in a over 30-inch pike.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. On a tip up.
Yeah.
But he never complained. We were out there for I think 4 hours. It was a quick. Oh, we have nothing to do. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's try to go fishing for the first time.
Yeah.
And he just, I want to say, fell in love with it.
He took to it.
He took to
right
it.
away, just the kid's a natural.
Not crying. All scared of the fish.
Right.
He was all about touching it. Touching the bait, going in the bait bucket.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I knew from that day, just seeing that and him not, after a half hour Dad on board, I want to go home.
He was a natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say very much.
Yeah, because I think that's definitely something, because you hear stories from guys and gals out there that are trying to get their kids in the outdoors where, if you make it an uncomfortable situation where they are cold, let's say it's on a first hunt or whatever, say it's gun hunting and you're sitting in a blind, and if it's cold and they don't have snacks and things like that to keep them occupied or, to keep them focused on it, they get turned off.
Yeah, and they click their boots together and
right.
All right. Maybe that's a 30-year-old guy too.
Maybe we might know a guy or two
making
like that,
deer sounds.
Thinking they are.
Well, it's interesting because like the at one point my daughter asked if she could go hunting, and it actually terrified me. I didn't know how to. I mean, she's a very petite, small, timid, all of these things, right? And I was very nervous for her, and I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know how to really get her started. I mean, of course, hunter safety, things of that nature.
Right.
And I let it go too long. Okay,
Not old enough.
Next year.
Let's have you, grow up a little bit more, get a little bit bigger, get you around guns, that type of thing.
Right.
And it just kind of never happened. and now she's into cars, and
Well, yeah.
you know, and that's fine.
That's the
Like,
thing is,
you
next
know.
thing you know, all of a sudden, then they're not interested in it. you
Yeah,
know?
and I regret that because who knows? Who knows what that type of environment would have bred for her?
Well, where would it took her in life?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, that's not to say that my daughter is amazing. She's
Yeah,
super proud of her.
absolutely,
It's just not what
And
she
it-
wants to do anymore.
Right.
Right. And maybe someday she will. Maybe
Yeah.
later on too.
Hopefully, I
mean,
get the
there-
opportunity again.
I've mentored plenty of adult hunters over the years and stuff. People that, guys that have never hunted, a day in their life, until all of a sudden they're in their late 20s, early 30s, and all of a sudden hey, I want to try this out,
Yeah.
And for some it's worked out, and some it hasn't.
Some
it
click
just
their
wasn't.
boots together.
Some click their boots together while they're out there. We're not going to name names. We don't do that here.
I assume you weren't seeing anything.
No, we're not talking about
wasn't
him.
me.
No, it wasn't. Actually, it wasn't him. It wasn't.
Oh, you were
him.
just laughing. I just assumed it was.
No, it's just
No,
because
he's been hunting
oh,
since you were
13,
12.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been hunting since you were 12. So
Well, and I went before that, but
yeah, you were out in the woods. I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, you started actually hunting with a gun at 12, like
Yeah.
we all did. I
Yep.
mean, that was the age back then. You had to be 12 years old, but we were out there with Dad, years prior to see if this was going to be a thing that we were going to like. I mean, for
and
me,
I probably did click my boots together.
oh yeah,
Holy
right.
cow,
What-
is it cold out here?
For me, yeah, I took to it right away. There was
Oh,
like,
it's-
this is what I want to do forever. This is my favorite thing in the world is this. And
I still remember you, being in the screen house. Everyone's playing cards and things like that, and telling jokes and stories and having a great time. And he's got his nose buried in deer hunting magazines and books, and just it was really. At the time, I didn't
all of
think
Leonard
anything
Lee
of it.
Rue III's work.
I didn't think anything of it at the time. It didn't impress me. Didn't think it was whatever. Now it's like, man, yeah. I wish I would have got into it as soon as he did. And to the extent that he did. So it's kind of neat.
Well,
It's-
I think everybody's outdoor experience it takes different
it's to each their own. yeah.
avenues
Right.
and forks in the road and things like that of how you're going to progress, and your passion level can change from time to time
Oh, yeah.
for certain people. Some people take years off and then all of a sudden get back into it again. And there's others like us where we're just like, this is life. This is
All I
what
want
we
to do.
right? And I would even say though that I went through a period of time, especially like in my 20s, like I still hunted for sure, but it wasn't. There's different priorities. You're young,
God,
you're
yeah.
having fun with your friends, you're dating and things like that. That sometimes those things. And I see guys that are out there in their 20s that like everything else takes a back seat to the outdoors, and I'm like, I never gave it up, but it definitely did take a back seat, to certain other aspects.
Yeah,
of
and
it,
for
like,
me, it was my 30s.
sure.
It just wasn't where I was in life, and now I love it.
Yeah.
And I love being outdoors, and I love fishing.
Spend time
I
with
love
family.
hunting.
Yeah.
That right there is everything.
Hanging with your brother.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the time spent.
You can't really quantify
Yeah.
just how important that is.
Yeah, I mean, hanging out like this, but hanging out in the woods or at the deer camp,
Right.
It's amazing.
to me, it's totally different experiences.
It is. It really
Yeah, it's just fun just sitting around just talking hunting and fishing and that, telling the stories and that, like much like we're doing now. That's what it's about. It's the time out there. I mean, we talked about earlier too how like we don't really get into politics on the show or on our page or anything, because that, I mean, again, politics is very much interwoven into everything that the outdoors is about. There's that aspect. It's regulated. There's laws. There's people fighting against what we do. There's, but at the end of the day, we don't really like outdoors should be about getting away from all that kind of stuff, at least when you're out there.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I have no problem with people fighting for our rights and to keep our traditions alive and to keep this thing, because for as popular as we feel like hunting and the outdoors has become, and only because of social media, it seems like, wow, it's bigger than ever. It's bigger than it's ever been. The fact of the matter is we're losing more people, at least in the hunting side. Maybe there's more people picking up fishing. I don't necessarily know the stats on that. People are buying boats like crazy, but we're losing hunters every single year, and we're not replacing them.
No.
Whether it be because people, people are dying, or people are getting too old to get out there and stuff and still do it. We're not replacing those people with the younger generation. So with what you're doing with getting your kid out there, you're just, and by putting it out there and showing how much you enjoy, how much he enjoys that time out there in the field or on the water, whatever it may be, you're putting it out there, and all it takes is one or two people to see that and see and they're like, I want that with my kid. Mm-hmm. And if he can do it, well, you know what? Get off your video game. We're going to go for a hike.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just go catch butterflies. We'll go for a hike and catch caterpillars, or we'll go down to the creek and catch some frogs or some crayfish. And that, next thing you know, you're getting them their own fishing pool.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you want to come sit out in the turkey blind with me, and we'll get some snacks. And, and that's what we need more of. That is 100% what we need more of. So you are a living example of what we need. You're doing it. You're doing what more people need to do. And it doesn't mean that, that everybody out there needs to get their kid killing an animal and stuff. It's not for everybody.
No, it's not what it's about.
But, anybody can pick up a fishing pole.
Yeah.
And sit on the edge of a pier and catch a bluegill, right? And have a good time.
Or tangle their line.
Or get
or
have that bobber stuck up in the tree.
That happened a few times down at the boat launch, or at the marina.
But we need more of that. Our society, our world, we need more of that. We need to be. The outdoors is rejuvenating. It's pure. It's 100% all those things, and
it's natural.
It's natural.
Everything else that is going on in
is
our
unnatural,
lives is
right?
Completely unnatural.
Exactly,
absolutely,
100%. So we're super excited about having you on the team. You guys are, for those of you who don't know Jesse, you're going to know him. Those of you that follow us, and you're going to see some really awesome content from him. You're going to kind of go along for the ride of. And I would say it's the Jesse and Hunter show. We're together. You guys tag team it. You guys are together in it, and it's refreshing. We need more of that for sure. And we're super excited to have you as part of this team. So
I appreciate the asking me, and again, it caught me off guard and speechless. But I couldn't be more happy to have this opportunity. And yeah, it really is.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun for all of us.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great for you guys too.
Yeah, 100%. And, like I said, we've had our eye on you for about a year, give or take. I still remember that night, after, I don't know what show it was, but we were kicking around the idea of expanding, and we started, throwing out some names. Yeah. All right, well, let's focus on these people. Let's see what they, continue to produce,
see if there's a consistency.
Without them even knowing.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
And
there's a couple other people out there too. We got an eye on.
It could be you.
Well, it doesn't need to be creepy.
We're not watching it that close.
It should be magical.
It's a magical moment.
Real quick before we end this, Steve Schwartz is watching, and I do believe
it's his birthday.
It is his birthday. Happy birthday, Steve Schwartz.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Glad that you joined us, buddy, on your
Steve
birthday.
Steve is a big
great
supporter.
Day.
He's been a long-time supporter, one of the OGs.
He is an OG. Here's to you. Cheers. Steve,
That's a you, Steve.
happy birthday, bud.
Happy birthday. You got anything else?
I got all kinds of things. We could talk
Go ahead.
with Jesse nonstop, but the beauty of it is you're now one of us. And we can do this again another time. And we
Yeah,
can have you on and
absolutely.
we can talk more stories.
And we will. We'll
And-
definitely have you on again.
And we'll just have you post some content. How about that?
I-
So that'd be fun.
Absolutely.
All right.
Excited to have
Anything
you.
you guys? You're good? You're good? You got anything else?
I'm just happy to be part of this and just keep doing what I'm doing to help promote this place and show everybody what it's like to be out on the water, the big water,
The big water.
Love it.
The big inland water.
the big inland water.
Big
Yes.
inland water.
What about Luke? You got anything? And that was a shrug.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show. I would like to say that we are working on the YouTube page. We have been uploading past shows and that. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, Midwest Racks and Rods, head over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Check out some of the videos, some of the past episodes that we've had on. Back when it was Chris and I, we've episodes with Dan Infault and Sam Ubal and Chris Ham from HHA. We've got quite a few out there. I got another backlog of other episodes I want to get up on there. So if you would, that would be great. We really want to start making a shift a little bit. We're going to continue doing Facebook Lives, but we want to also incorporate YouTube Live as well. Kind of expand our audience and the different avenues to go about
Right,
there.
yeah.
So check us out over there. And until next time, guys, always outdoors.